At this time, if you would, please rise. I'm going to ask Commissioner Mark Weisenbaker to lead us in the invocation and the pledge.
Pray. Heavenly Father, you blessed us with another beautiful day, Lord, and we just thank you so much for the rain that we've been receiving. Father, we ask that you be with us tonight in this room, that you give us wisdom, you give us the strength and the courage to make the best decisions for Lowndes County. And we pray, Lord, for Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and the United States of America, Lord. We need you. We've gotten away from you. We all want to see America get back on its feet. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to introduce to everyone, we have in our audience tonight Mr. Ross Berry. He is the new South Georgia Medical Center CEO. If you would, please come forward, Mr. Berry, and welcome to Lowndes County. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir. I appreciate you giving the opportunity to come in and introduce myself. I realize when we set this up, I've met most of you one-on-one, but I did want to take a minute and thank you guys for having me here. Let you know how excited I am to be here in Valdosta and be at the South Georgia Medical Center. I'd like to let you know that I'm very available. If you need to talk to me about anything, Johnny Ball can get you my cell phone number. If you're in the hospital and you have a few minutes and you'd like to converse about anything with healthcare, what's going on with the hospital, I'm more than happy to sit down and talk to you. Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to come to any meeting and address any issue that you might have in the future, and would like to invite you to attend our board meetings on behalf of myself and Sam, and anytime you like. So
Very good. Well, thank you very much. And again, we welcome you into our community. And if there's anything that the commission can do to assist you in your endeavors with the hospital, just feel free to give us a call.
I appreciate that. You guys have made me feel incredibly welcome, so thank you.
Yes, sir.
Have a good
Welcome.
evening.
Take care.
Welcome.
Also in the audience tonight, I'd like to recognize some members of the Leadership Lounge class of 2017. If you would, please rise so that we can recognize you, please. Nice group. Again, I appreciate what y'all, everything that y'all do and the sacrifices that you've made out of your time to participate in Leadership Lounge. I was in Leadership Lounge in 2007. It was a great experience. I tell everyone, you have to be very, very careful about what you do learn because you may end up where I'm at. You know, it does give you a deeper perspective of what goes on in our community. We do have a tendency to kind of live in our own little worlds through our businesses, through our employment and those sort of things, and the opportunity that you have in Leadership Lounge, as you are finding out, I'm sure, there is a lot that goes on in this community, and there's a lot of good people doing a lot of good work. So again, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to participate in Leadership Lounge. So, welcome. Okay, also, I believe we have, as a guest with us as well, City Councilman Mr. Alvin Payton. Mr. Payton, welcome. Glad to have you with us. All righty. Commissioners, inside your package, you'll find your minutes for the work session of May the 22nd and the regular session minutes of May the 23rd. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion for approval.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item 5A. This is our only public hearing case that we have tonight. This is REZ 2017-06. It's New Statenville Highway. It's a PD to a CG. It has well and septic. It involves 1.6 acres. Mr. Davenport?
Yes, sir, thank you. And you're right, ultimately, this is a request to change the zoning on the subject property to general commercial or CG. If you give me just a moment, I'd like to try to bring you up to speed based on all the public comments we've been getting over the past 24, 48 hours, and also the new site plan the applicant gave us today, which I don't believe you have seen yet. But with that, we have the aerial of the subject property, the zoning map, the future development map, survey in case we need it. This is actually a photometric plan. Otherwise, what this shows you is just the lighting impact that's expected if the building were able to be constructed on the site. We have a copy of the color rendering of what the proposed building would look like, as well as this is the updated site plan. The main change with this site plan is the parking spaces on the eastern side were previously shown facing Boring Pond Road, and the applicants changed the orientation of that so the parking spaces would face Dollar General to try to help with some of the lighting impacts. I anticipate the applicant's attorney to address this in just a few moments, but they sent this over today because of that one main change. So here's the previous plan. You can see those parking spaces oriented towards the neighbors in Boring Pond Road, and with the updated site plan, those changes, those parking spaces being changed toward the building. So within those updated site plans, you also have the public input we've had, those speaking in favor at the Planning Commission hearing, those speaking opposed to it, and then as of 5 o'clock today, 27 phone calls in favor and then 20 phone calls in opposition. And so those were current numbers. I did walk out, the phone was ringing, but just want to try to get ready for the meeting. But there have been a number of phone calls, and that's how they stack up as of this point. Beyond that, we have the conditions on the slide in case we need to go into detail on those. An aerial of the area, and so we have all those as a reference, but those are really the only updates that we've had. That site plan was shared with us today. Otherwise, it's just trying to keep track of the public comments we had to report to the commission.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Davenport?
Yes, Jason, regarding the lighting, is this particular location, would it be fair to say this is the most restrictive, I don't know how to ask that. Is this more restrictive than the others that we've seen in the past?
Yes, we've not had to put a condition on the lighting of any Dollar General we've viewed before. So this will be the first time we went that far, but they've agreed to that condition. It's in place elsewhere in our code, but we've not seen them go to the level of detail that we've had in this request.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
I guess I had a similar question myself, Jason, because I've not only went out there during the day, but I've been out there at night, and it's dark. And I don't see people's houses until you really get in the woods. So appreciate your answering that.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Mr. Davenport?
There's also a buffer as a condition to this.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. To the north and to the west, honestly, I think there will be a buffer constructed, but through speaking with the zoning administrator and the applicants, we've decided to put a recommended condition on there just to clarify what that buffer would look like and what kind of standards it will be under. The Planning Commission did the same, so the applicants and staff and the Planning Commission are in agreement about the particular buffer standards.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Davenport? Okay, we'll now move into the public participation portion of the meeting. Is there anyone in the meeting that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please. We'd like to also state that you have 5 minutes for your presentation.
Hey, my name is Monica Patel, and I'm opposing, the Dollar General is coming right across the convenience store that we have right there. And not just, it will bring more traffic to it, it's just a nice little countryside. And there are other Dollar Generals and Family Dollar and Walmart within 10 or 13 miles radius of that. And if that brings down our business, and if we're out of business, we do sell gas at the gas station, and the Dollar General does not provide it. And the closest gas station from there will be Eagles County, and not just that will go out of business tax of the Lowndes County, that will go to the Eagles County. And also the Boring Pond Road, it is goes back to a dirt road, and during the summertime or after school, there are a bunch of kids walking and riding their bicycle, and that's another concern of mine of their safety. Basically just that, and people around, residents, they're a retired and nice little community and just like to keep it quiet as it is.
Okay.
That's all. Thank
Do
you.
you have any questions for the speaker?
No.
Thank you, Ms. Patel.
Okay.
Is there anyone else in the audience? Please come forward and state your name for the record, please, and address.
I don't like this. My name is Tracy Coate. My address is 6712 Lake Park Road. I live 1 mile. I've lived there about 38 years. The store that they own is now called RJ's. It used to be called the Trading Post. Years ago, we used to take our raccoons that we would trap up there. So, I mean, I have a lot of history there. We would love for it to stay a country and agricultural rural area and not have a commercialized box store move in there. I know that's not probably going to appeal to anybody. That's not a great argument. My arguments are the traffic. When you pull out of Bourne Pond Road onto Statenville Highway, if y'all will go visit it, if you could table your decision and go visit this area and see for yourself, like you were saying it was really dark out there. We want it to stay dark out there. That's why you move out to the country. You know, we want it to stay dark. But when you pull out off of Bourne Pond Road on Statenville Highway, you look left towards Eccles County. Eccles County is right there. There's a hill. Log trucks come down that hill every single morning. Every single morning on my way to work, I get behind a log truck, get in front of a log truck. That is a major concern, pulling out onto that road right there. And we've had traffic accidents there before. We've had people life flighted out of there. It is a really bad road to pull out on. I foresee a traffic light coming in there if you have more people stopping in there. That's one concern. Of course, the lighting. And RJ's has gas pumps. Like she was saying, the closest gas station to us at this place now will be, if you remove that, is going to be Eccles County. And I know that's what that will do to your sales tax revenue. You're going to lose that sales tax revenue out of Lowndes County, and it's going to go to Eccles County. Let's see. And Bourne Pond Road. When I grew up, and they still do it, all the kids in the summertime, especially in the summertime, will walk to the store, even from a mile away. You know, you will walk to the store. There's going to be a lot of children. There's a lot of children walking up and down that road. A lot of four-wheelers, a lot of golf carts go up and down that road. So my point, my valid point is safety. You know, yes, it's convenient, but you don't move to the country for city life, for the convenience of city life. You move to the country because you want to be away from everybody and you want it to be dark there. And you don't want the traffic. That's my only point is I wish y'all could table it and let the new design, let the people see the new design that you just submitted, and let the people look at that, and then also get more phone calls and actually listen to, give people more time. I would have gone to the zoning meeting last Tuesday, but I was actually at the ER with my daughter, so I missed that zoning meeting. So that's my points. Thank you for hearing me.
One second. Any questions for the speaker? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take one more. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Okay, hearing none, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this request? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. Bill Nigem, 1007 North Patterson Street. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Terramore Development. A few things I want to try and address, and a lot of questions about traffic and lighting. And I'll get to that, but I first want to talk about the use. You know, the use is, and what we're looking at here is commercial retail. When we initially applied, you know, there were sort of two ways we could go with CC zoning or CG zoning. Upon us having further conversations with the county planner, we determined that CG was the better use because it had some, or better zoning classification, it had some less intensive uses in it. So Commercial retail use is what we're looking at, how we get there, CG. CG appears to be the more appropriate zoning classification here. Commercial retail is specifically allowed under the Greater Lowndes County Comprehensive Plan and the future development map for this property. You already have CC zoning directly across the street on the northeast side with the gas station. And that's actually, as I said, a more intensive zoning classification than what we're asking for here in CG. This is on a hard corner of a state highway that's a major collector road and a minor collector road with typical flow capacity between 1,500 and 3,000 cars a day. So we're at a very busy corner which is a prime corner for a retail establishment like this. The improvements themselves, this is the smallest Dollar General concept. I mean, the idea is for it to be a community store. I mean, if you have noticed, a lot of these stores are in very rural areas, and that is what they look to. So it's 7,500 square feet. It's the smallest Dollar General concept there is. The elevation that was flashed up earlier, they're actually doing 3 sides of brick instead of, sometimes you'll see a Dollar General store with metal siding instead of brick on the sides. This is going to be dressed up a little bit. We're going to have 3 sides of brick, the front facade and the 2 sides. Fencing and buffering will be along the west side and the north side, adjacent to the residential properties. The site plan itself and the traffic lighting, there was some discussion at the Planning Commission phase about access and whether there could be access directly on the Stateville Highway as opposed to coming out on Boring Pond Road. We have run that up to the Georgia DOT and actually did that initially when we were designing a site plan, and that's something that Georgia DOT won't allow. Okay, direct access onto Stateville Road. So that's hence the access point onto Boring Pond. And I believe those emails are in y'all's package. To talk about the new site plan, what we tried to do here, because there were some comments and concerns, we're really trying to address the concerns of neighboring property owners with the traffic headlights. On the east side in the parking, the traffic was pulling to where the headlights would face out towards Boring Pond Road and across the road. So we just flipped those traffic stalls to where the traffic would pull in and face the building now, and those headlights wouldn't be maybe as bothersome to some of the neighboring property owners. So that was the only change with the site plan. And also, even with the new site plan, and there was some discussion about this too with Mr. Davenport, I believe the applicant would also be willing to plant a hedgerow between the eastern parking lot side and Boring Pond Road to where that traffic would be buffered even more from neighboring properties. So these 2 measures, we believe, should mitigate any neighbors' concerns about lights from vehicles in the parking lot. The lighting itself on the building, it's downward directional lighting. You've got some renderings of the lighting fixtures that can be on the side of the building. Point down. You've got the photometric plan, which shows little, if any. I don't think there's really any spillover lighting onto adjacent properties. So any concerns about lighting, the tenant is very conscious about that, and the developer and the tenant want to work to address that, and I believe they have. No pole lighting in the parking lots, so there's not going to be a big pole with lights shining down.
Nigel, you kind of.
Yes, sir. Okay. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Mr. Nigel? I don't have any. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in favor? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Kay Singletary, 6111 Pinewood Drive East, Valdosta, Georgia. I've lived in Lowndes County all my life. I live about a half a mile from this site that you're talking about. I can understand both sides, but I was in retail for 25 years. This past election is all about jobs. You know, if we can get somebody off assistance, they can take their monies and they can spend it in Lowndes County. It helps the community, it helps the county. And I just do believe that it's going to do more good than it's going to do harm. I'm not affiliated with Dollar General or after anybody that works in the opposite side or hurt anyone. I'm just saying I'd rather drive a half a mile to get milk at 9 o'clock at night than 14 miles to Walmart or any other grocery store. Now, I do shop at all of those places, but I'm just saying, for convenience for me, because I'm totally disabled with a heart condition, you know, I may not always have my daughter at my side. And as far as the traffic is concerned, regardless whether you put it there or you don't put it there, we are going to have a traffic problem. 6 miles at Perimeter Road, my daughter almost got killed in 2004 before they put the traffic light up. So we have a traffic problem on Stateville Highway, regardless whether it goes or it doesn't go. But I do believe that any time that we can grow Lowndes County and put jobs in Lowndes County and give somebody a chance, a student that's going to college or a single mom that has a child, she can get a job when there's not a whole lot of jobs, if anybody's been looking lately, because my daughter's a school teacher, and it took a while for her to get where she's at today. I'm just saying, anytime we can create jobs in Lowndes County, and that money will trickle down from that store to surrounding areas in Lowndes County, whether it be Walmart or the mall or wherever, it's just like a domino effect. But I know this to be a fact after 25 years of retail. If we do not have jobs in Lowndes County, if we do not create these jobs, what happens? People are out of jobs, they become homeless, we have unemployment. I mean, it's just, you know, and I'm not going to say that this store is going to make or break any of that. But, you know, whether it be Dollar General, Family Dollar, Walmart, or any other job, law offices, anywhere, advertising, anything, when we create jobs, we create a community. Thank you. Y'all have a blessed day.
Any questions for the speaker? Ms. Singletary, 1 second, please.
I apologize.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of this request? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Vance Roberts, 5968 Glen Road. I live right down the road there, but I also own property that's adjacent to the site that you're considering here. And I think this is just another sign of progress in Lowndes County. But we have a small store there now on one corner, and this will just add to the competition to have another store there. And I think that the company has taken extreme consideration, both with the location and how it's facing the Stateville Highway, as well as the lighting, and especially by putting a partition board fence up on both sides of where the houses are located, is going to segregate it from the residential property.
Any questions for Mr. Roberts?
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you. Okay, we'll now close the public participation portion of the meeting, and we'll turn it over to the commissioners for your consideration.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the zoning with conditions 1 and 2.
Do we have a motion to approve the request with conditions number 1 and 2? Is that the way I understood it?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries unanimously. Okay, we'll now move on to agenda item 6A. This is the speed zone ordinance. Mr. Fletcher?
Yes, sir. What you have before you is an update for 2017 for the Lowndes County speed zone ordinance. The only change in this ordinance from last year to this year will be the change on the speed limit on Highway 133 from the Brooks County line to the city of Valdosta.
Any questions for Mr. Fletcher? Okay. Give him just a minute to clear up. Okay. Hearing no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the ordinance.
We have a motion to adopt the ordinance. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 6B is the annual contract renewal for the prison work details. Ms. Cumbus?
Yes, sir. This contract is for 3 prison work details. 1 detail is assigned to the engineering department, and 2 details are assigned to the road maintenance division.
Commissioners, any questions for Ms. Cumbus?
No, sir.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the contract for the renewal of the prison works detail.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the contract for the prison work details and authorize the chairman to execute the contract. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 6C is the Lowndes County Board of Health new fee schedule. Ms. Dukes?
Chairman and Commissioners, the state statute empowers county boards of health to establish fees for environmental health services. These fees cannot be charged unless the fees have been approved by the county governing authority. The Board of Health and District Director of Health approved the attached fee schedule on May the 23rd, 2017, and now is requesting the County Commission approve the proposed fees.
Any questions for Ms. Dukes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the fees.
Do we have a motion to approve the fees? Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 6D is the FY18 grant award for the Accountability Court for the State Court. Ms. Dukes?
Yes, sir. Yesterday, the commission heard from Judge Golden regarding the operation of the DUI court. There is an $11,579 match that is required as a part of the grant, along with $17,681 in shortfall for the director's salary, which is required by the program as well. So the state court is asking that the commission approve the match for the grant to continue the operation of the DUI court, as well as cover the shortfall of the director's salary.
Okay, so, and that budget impact will be $29,206.
That's correct.
Correct. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 6E is a declaration of surplus of materials and the authorization to sell. Ms. Black?
Yes, sir. Deep South Sanitation has been leasing 5 roll-off containers from the county for $250 a month since August of 2015. They have requested to purchase those containers from the county based on their condition. Public Works estimates their value at about $500 each, and so we're requesting that those be declared surplus and we sell those to Deep South for $2,500.
Any questions for Ms. Black?
Ms. Black, I'm assuming that they've somewhat indicated that they're not going to continue to rent? Okay, thank you.
I was gonna say that, also, that's a steal. That's a real steal, because you can pay $6,000 for one.
Let's get rid of them.
They wore out.
Or get them
Okay,
repaired.
any other comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to declare the item surplus and authorize the sale to Deep South Sanitation.
Can we have a motion to declare the item surplus and to authorize the sale to Deep South Sanitation? Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Commissioners, due to a time restraint concern, there was a last-minute item that was added, needed to be added to the agenda. You have that item before you. We will, for the record, that item would be 6F. It's in regards to the Lowndes County Accountability Court grant approval and a match. Ms. Dukes?
Chairman and Commissioners, the Lowndes County Accountability Court is funded through a reimbursable state grant. To receive funding through the grant, the court must secure a cash match from Lowndes County. This year's match is $16,350. All other monies expended by the Board of Commissioners on the court's behalf are fully reimbursable, and said payments are received by the county each quarter.
Any questions from Ms. Dukes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the continued funding and cash match.
We have a motion to approve the continued funding and the cash match. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have several seconds. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 7A is a bid item. This is the resurfacing of 5 county roads and 2 alternate projects. Mr. Fletcher.
Yes, sir. Lowndes County has solicited bids to resurface Lot Law Road, Foxborough Boulevard, Old Lake Park Road, Val North Drive, and Withington Lane, and 2 alternate projects, which will include the Lake Park Fire Station Entrance Road and the utility road going into the Lake Park Utility Office. Lowndes County has received LMIG grant funds in the amount of $1,050,678.58 to cover a portion of this cost. We had 5 vendors at a pre-bid meeting and received 2 bids on May the 30th. The bids are at your pleasure.
Okay, Commissioners, I would like to bring to your attention in regards to the bid that there has some concerns that's come up in regards to, in this particular item, the low bid. I would like to ask Mr. Fletcher if he would share some concerns in regards to that issue.
Yes, sir. At the request, because H&H has not performed any work for Lowndes County directly, or any work that Lowndes County has been responsible for, I was asked to check some references on H&H. So I have called Thomas County, the City of Valdosta, Colquitt County, and the City of Moultrie. All 4 of these had very similar responses. Number one, that they had inadequate flaggers and signage for safety during the project. The plant was not sufficient in size to keep up with the demand of the paving. Thus, it caused delays, which in the end result had cold joints. The center line and edge line were not straight. They did not have an adequate number of trucks, equipment, or manpower, and they did not have any backup equipment in case something was to break down. They had issues with the operators calculating spread rates and overrunning the tonnage on the asphalt contract. And they also had the asphalt spreader can only go up to, the asphalt spreader that they currently have will only go up to 12 feet wide. And Lot Laurel is a 26-foot wide road, so it would require 3 pulls for that road.
Which means you would end up with 2 joints in the road?
There would be 3 pulls. It
Three.
would
So
it would
three
have
joints.
2 joints, but 3
2,
pulls.
Correct, right. So you'd have 2 joints in the road. Commissioners, I think it's important to recognize on a project of this size the concerns, and certainly since this is we have not had any experience with this particular contractor, to take those items in consideration. So if you have any questions for Mr. Fletcher, he's free to answer those, and other than that, I will entertain a motion.
Mike, I had a question. Which roads have they done within the city of Valdosta?
They did Dogwood,
Dogwood,
yes, sir, over off of Park Avenue.
small lanes.
Yes, sir, small road.
And Mike, how many miles of road is Lot Laurel?
Lot Laurel is about 6.5 miles.
Any other questions?
Mike, did you ask them about any of the low bidding items? I noticed some of them, they're very big differences.
No, sir, I did not communicate with with them regarding this because at this point, we were not, authorized to do any kind of negotiating or anything with it.
Commissioners, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move the Board of Commissioners determine H&H Paving is not reliable for this project and reject H&H's bid and award the contract to Scruggs Company.
Okay, we have a motion to determine that H&H Paving is not reliable, reject the H&H bid, and award the contract to the Scruggs Company.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Okay, Ms. Dukes, any comments?
No, sir, no additional reports.
Okay, thank you. We now have citizens wishing to be heard. Let's see, we have three. I believe one may be gone. Ms. Kay Singletary, she spoke earlier during the zoning case. Okay, next we have Ms. Judy Haverkamp. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Judy Haverkamp, 3922 Island Creek Road, Valdosta. Actually, I already spoke to Mrs. Dukes, but I just wanted to inquire about the bidding that might be going on for the new animal shelter, but she's already explained it to me, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, our next citizen is Miss Shirley Garland. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Shirley Garland. I'm speaking to you today regarding the property at 2311 Corey Drive. That's West Lowndes County. And Ms. Evans is our commissioner. I've been before you before. What we're asking as a group is to consider annexing municipal water and sewage to the Westwood Estate subdivision and the Westwood community. Right now, municipal water goes west on 84, and then it also goes down James Road back round to, I call it 94, but I think it's 133, around there. But anyway, what we'd like for you all to do is to please consider our community for the municipal water and sewage, because we're concerned about groundwater contamination. Right now, we have our own individual pumps and deep well. That community is over 30 years old. So we're having problems with those pumps and deep wells. And we'd like to improve our property value. You have people who are still building new homes out there, and they're having to make that initial investment. And I know how happy I was when we got sanitation out there, instead of having to haul our trash off. It's not just about convenience, though. It's quality control of the water, because each family member now, you're responsible for your own deep well. So you do your water testing. Whereas if we were part of the municipal system, we would have standardized water testing. Everyone has heard about what's going on with water in Flint, Michigan. I personally feel that, we have some issues here in Lowndes County that we need to look at, because there's a large sulfur pocket out there. And then the treatment plant, the dump site, is west of that property also. So I think it would be very beneficial to the area, because we have undeveloped land there. And like I said, people are building new homes. So there's an opportunity there to continue increasing the tax revenue base. So we'd like you all to really consider this. I know that it, just to run the water out into that area is an expense, but I think you would see a return on the money. There are several people who don't want to make that change, but I really think it should be optional, that we should have an opportunity to have those conveniences and, like I said, to improve our property value, because we have very nice homes out there. And since it's so close to us on James Road and Highway 84, to annex it over, I think would be well worth the investment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would add, Mr. Stalvey, could you take a look at that request at your convenience and kind of see where we're at as far as expanding water and sewer, Corey Drive and into Westwood subdivision?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I talked.
Okay, that is all of our citizens wishing to be heard. Is there any other business? If there's none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah.